In this new video tutorial, we are going to introduce ourselves to the world of Nodered in ctrlX. In this first part, we are going to start with something relatively simple and without going into many details, but that will help us to see how Nodered works. The first objective will be to show on the dashboard screen the value of a counter, also having some push button that will allow us to start, stop and initialize the counter. From ctrlX works, we can access the Nodered configurator that is divided into two parts. On the one hand, the flow editor that will allow us to access the programming node of the Nodered, and on the other hand we have the dashboard that allows us to visualize what we have previously created in the flow editor. The first step for the configuration of the data to be used will be to generate some variables in the PLC part. We will create these as global variables. As we have said, we will have bstart for starting the counter, bstop for stop the counter, bcounter init for counter initialization, iCounter with the current value of the counter, a bstart counter control activated. All these variables should be visible in the symbol configuration, so that we have them available in the data layer of the ctrlX and be able to incorporate them into the Nodered. It is important in the symbols configuration to select the folder of variables in which they are located and execute a build to validate them. The program itself is very simple, as can be seen in the image, but as I say, it serves as an initialization in Nodered. We have the activation stop part of the counter, the counter if the order is activated, and finally the initialization of the counter. These are the functions available in the flow editor, and that will allow us to generate the flow of the program. The ones that are marked are the ones we are going to use in the first example. From the flow editor, we will configure the elements that we are going to use, and that will come to be more to less like this. On the one hand, we will have the visualizer with the value of the counter and then the push button for the start, stop and initialization. To read the counter value, we will select the data layer subscribe function, dragging and dropping it on the flow control, then click on it and enter the function menu, selecting the option ctrlX core. Then we will look for the path where the variables is located within the data layer. Remember that we must have previously activated the symbol configuration. If this previous process has been done correctly, we should find the variables in the following path: data layer, PLC, app, application, sim. And we shall see the table of variables and the variables activated in the symbol configuration. Obviously, in this case, we will select the variable iCounter. To be able to visualize the value of the counter in the dashboard, we will add a text function, and the only thing we will modify, if we want, is the name in the label section. As an additional note, in many cases the values received are usually in message payload format. You can also define how the item will be displayed in the dashboard. As the three push buttons in the example use the same operation structure, we will see how the start push button of the counter works. During the first test, the reality is that I went crazy trying to generate an operation as close as possible to a push button. As is always said, the solutions are always many, and perhaps there is an easier and faster one to apply. But these are the first contact with Nodered. As we can see, the general structure contains a total of 6 elements. The push button that will appear on the dashboard, the function with the activation value true and false, the status bit that generates the disconnection of the push button and therefore simulate the operation of a push button, the write order of the program variable through the data layer, and of course the check beaver, which is another way to see if all this is activated or not. Like the other functions, we will choose a push button node and drag it towards the flow controller. From the outset, we will only modify the name and status sent by the button, which in this case is a through. If we look closely at the function, we will see that from the outset we can only choose the true or false state to send the state. So for now, and in the absence of learning more, we will choose that when the button is activated, it sends a true, which on the other hand also means that the variable will always be activated, which is obviously not good at all. But we'll see how to fix that deleting problem. The following function we will use through the message by load structure to send a file in JSON format. That includes the type and value of the variable, which in this case is with true value, and that will help to activate the variable. The writing will be executing the following function using the write method, accessing the variable from the data layer as we have done with the counter value, and defining the payload option as value plus type JSON. The reset, remember that we are trying to simulate the operation of a push button. We will manage it as follows. First, we will read the state of the variable. A through may not be necessary. Looking for and placing the path of the data layer, then we will use a function to collocate the value in false, and we will send it to the writing module that we have already used to activate the variable, passing this automatically to false. I repeat, certainly this can be done in other ways, but for now we are going to leave in this way because it is true, just as this is not a button as such, but it's work. The philosophy used for the other two push buttons is exactly the same as can be seen in the image. Once everything is ready, or if any modification has been made, I must be validated by activating the deploy button. In this image you can see the list of options deploy. Finally, there was a particularly interesting function that allowed us to see the status of the variables using the debug function. In the second part of Nodered, we will see how to communicate Nodered with a XM to send and receive data. The question is to keep learning.